Step 1. Register.
Go to www.jobs180.com and click Register Now.
In choosing your resume link, use your full name so that it looks professional and is easy to recall by potential employers, and fill out the other information needed.
After you register, go to your email address and validate your jobs180.com account to activate.
Step 2. Complete your resume link. When creating your resume link, make sure to complete your personal and contact information, your profile picture, and your cover photo. You can also put your objectives, work options, work experience, certifications, achievements, skills and languages, references, and portfolio.
Your resume link also features different themes and a cover photo. Step 3. Submit your resume link.
If you're qualified, click Submit Resume Link, or you can even share the job vacancy with your friends.
You can also apply for jobs outside jobs180.com by sending your resume link through any platform.
Register. Complete.
Submit your resume link.
So what are you waiting for? Turn your life around by creating your own resume link and applying for your dream job.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Robert from Jobs180.com, and welcome to Jobs180.com's Marketing Me Live. Now, this session is done for and in coordination with DMMA College of Southern Philippines. Now, before we proceed, I would like to invite everyone to join us in prayer.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him above, ye heavenly hosts. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.
Good afternoon again, and thank you everyone for coming. We would also like to thank in advance the companies that will be presenting later. We have Alorica and BXI Global. So mamaya part sa ating program is sila ang magbibigay ng talk. We would also like to thank CEO Group for being one of the corporate sponsors for this event. Get the latest fashion trends for your corporate attire needs. Check out CEO Store in Lazada and Shopee or at the nearest mall in your area. For career opportunities, visit jobs180.com/CEO Group. Of course, aside from our industry partners, we want to, of course, thank our school partner and school representatives again from the MMA College of Southern Philippines. Of course, well, we wouldn't have this webinar if it were not for them, if it were not sa aming coordination with them. Di tayo matutuloy ngayon. Okay, so well, to start things off, we have opening remarks from the school, which we would like to share now. To give the opening remarks, we have your college president, Mrs. Gloria S. Uriarte.
To our beloved students, parents, faculty and staff, and other stakeholders, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us virtually in today's event entitled Career Day 2021. Marketing Me Live at DMMA College of Southern Philippines. The college is very pleased to welcome all of you. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all of you who generously helped us make this event come together to become a success. My special thanks to the college Guidance Center for initiating this event or activity in collaboration with Jobs180.com. In today's virtual gathering, you will understand the nature of work and academics in a virtual environment. Jobs180.com will provide timely information about how to better cope with the shift in the virtual world of work. With a discussion on ResumeLink, improving communication skills, and the new age career possibilities. I hope you will find today's activity to be fun and full of learning. According to Confucius, choose a job that you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life. My dear students, I hope you can find a job that you truly loved. Thank you very much and stay safe always. Mabuhay!
Thank you, Mrs. Uriarte, for preparing the message for our event. Now, before we proceed, would just like to give a few more announcements. Last announcements lang, tapos diretso na tayo sa ating program. For those online ngayon, we ask to comment the name, course, and your year of graduation. If hindi pa graduate, lagay nyo yung year kung kailan kayo graduate. Although looking at the comment section now, I think yung iba ginawa na to. So thank you for that. And later, sa ating mga talk, we will be having a Q&A. Use the comment box to ask your questions. Tapos ako na magre-relay sa ating mga speakers. Of course, it goes without saying na yung comment box ay gamitin natin specific for yung topics related lang sa webinar. Okay, so speaking of topics, gusto ko na pakita sa inyo ang topics that we will be covering. So meron tayong 3 topics and each topic meron isang company na magre-represent siya ang magbibigay ng talk. First, we have the resume link. We will have someone from jobs180.com, then communication skills, someone from Alorica, and that's new age career opportunities, and we've invited someone from BXI Global. Okay, so for the first talk, I would now like to introduce our speaker. So our speaker will once again come from jobs180.com and to talk about the resume link. He has 20 years of experience in sales, marketing, business development, customer service, operations, business process, and human resources. As a trusted resource speaker, he has done over 1,000 career development seminars in more than 400 colleges and universities nationwide. Let's all turn our attention to Mr. Kim Chua, the Managing Director of jobs180.com.
Good afternoon, everyone. Allow me to share to you how to make a job-winning resume. Yan. A lot of you are now looking for a job and exploring for the next chapter in your life. I hope that this session will be able to help you. No? Not only you, but the people that you know that needs help in terms of how to make a job-winning resume. Yan. So yan na tinatawag nating resume link. A lot of platforms right now, mga online platforms are being offered left and right. But for you to know paano to magiging job-winning tool or job-winning resume to, meron akong checklist. So go with me, no, with all these checklists. Your checklist should include the following. Number 1, kailangan mag-stand out ka. When you look for a job, you have to be able to stand out. Because if you're not going to be able to stand out, then I think you'll just be part of the crowd. You'll be one of the next applicant na wala lang, na hindi mapapansin. Another thing that should be in your checklist is that you should only have 1 file. Hindi dapat maraming files na iba-iba sinesend sa mga companies. Mas maganda, isang file lang para pag sinend mo, lahat ng details mo nandoon na. Another thing in your checklist is that it should make the process more efficient. Ibig sabihin, mas mabilis mag-submit, mas mabilis makita ng HR, at mas mabilis kayo makontak for possible next steps na or possible job offer na. Now, another thing in my checklist is that dapat tipid ito, wala tong gastos. The tool that I will show you today, wala itong gastos. Libre po ito. At higit sa lahat, itong pinaka-importante sa lahat, this should be in your checklist. The tool should be secured. Okay? More than anything, importante talaga ang data. Pero ang data ninyo, dapat yung protectionan. And using this tool, this is the most secured resume kung tawagin. Bakit siya tinawag na most secured resume? Let me go through the next slides na. Okay? Ito ang tinatawag na resume link. Okay? A personalized URL for anyone can open online anytime. I will use an example para makarelate kayo. If you are John Santos, ang link mo or resume link mo pwede maging johnsantos.jobs180.com. Ganun lang kasimple. At yan na po ang resume link nyo. So how do you make one? Go with me through the 3 simple steps. First step is you have to register. Absolutely, wala tong bayad. Libre po ito. How do you register? You go to the website of jobs180.com. That's www.jobs180.com at dun ka mag-register on the upper right side of your screen. Now, as you do that, you have to put the basic information. Okay? So, alam nyo na ano mga information yan. Hindi ko na isa-isahin. Babawasan nyo naman at alam nyo naman ano dapat ilagay. Now, as you create your account, you have to use a valid email. Okay? Now, before we go to the email, paalala ko lang, sa mga nag-isip sa inyo, paano kung hindi ako si John Santos, ano gagawin kong resume link? O yan, baka nag-isip kayo eh. So, if ever lang meron kang kapangalan. Okay, just so happen na may ibang John Santos na nauna sa inyo, ano mangyayari? Magkakaroon doon na red na box, sasabihin niya, this name has already been taken. Huwag kayong malungkot pag taken na, okay lang, just be creative. Pwede mo gawin, baliktarin mo. Gawin mo santosjohn.jobs180.com o kaya J Santos o kaya Santos J o kaya JS o kaya SJ. Depende kung ano gusto mo gawin. Basta importante, wala kang kapangalan. Okay, wala kang kapareho. Now, when you do this, huwag kayong OA. Do not create yung mga ganong klaseng over creative na mga resume link because it doesn't look professional. Imagine submitting to a company with your resume link that says eljablo.jobs180.com. Hindi yan mukhang professional. Okay? Now, when you register, please use a valid email. Ito yung emphasis ko lang sa pag-create nyo ng account na dapat gamitin yung email, yung nabubuksan yung email, kagaya ng Gmail, Yahoo, or any email na nabubuksan nyo. Do not create, example lang yung mga email na kagaya ng ganito, patricia@facebook.com na email. Huwag kang gagamit ng joseph@facebook.com na email to register. In short, huwag mong gagamitin yung @facebook.com na email. Because if you use @facebook.com na email, you will no longer be able to receive notification being sent to you by the companies as well as jobs180.com. Importante po na nabubuksan nyo yung email nyo kasi kailangan mo i-verify yung account mo. Okay? It is very important that you verify your account as a proof na ikaw nag-register at pangalawa, para ikaw yung makapag-apply. If you don't do this, if you don't verify, walang mangyayari sa account nyo. Okay? So, sayang lang. So, you have to verify to finish the first step. Okay? How do you verify? Just open your email, look for the link, click mo yung verify, you're done with the first step. Okay? Tapos na yung first step. Ano yung first step? Register. Wala tong bayad. Let's go to the second step. Ang second step, ang pinaka-logical sa lahat. Kailangan kumpletong detalye nyo. So how do you do that? You go back again to your account by going to the website of jobs180.com. This time, hindi mo kailangan mag-register. Ang gagawin mo, mag-login. Pag login mo, lagay mo dito yung email nyo or resume link nyo, kayo lang may alam yan, at lalo na yung password nyo na kayo lang talaga may alam yan. So when you do that, you now go inside your account. Pag nasa loob na kayo ng account nyo, ano gagawin nyo? Mabilis na lang ito. Fill in the blanks. Okay? Now, I don't have to go through all the information here because definitely, alam mo naman pag sinabi ditong name, malamang pangalan nyo. Pag nakalagay dito address, malamang address nyo. Diba? So you put all the information ninyo dito. Okay, lagay nyo. Then, what else do you put in here? Importante po, lagay dito lahat ng posibleng paraan na pwede ka makontak ng isang HR. Kagaya ng social media account nyo. Diba? Hindi lang email tsaka phone number. Bakit? Most of the time, ano nangyayari? Okay, let me tell you. Marami sa inyo nilalagay nyo phone number nyo. Pero pag tinatawagan kayo ng HR, hindi nyo sinasagot. Lalo na pag hindi mo kilala. Hala, sino kaya ito? Hindi mo sasagutin. Diba? Kasi takot kayo, baka nagsascam or whoever yung tumatawag. So, ano mangyayari sa mga HR? Mag-i-email kami ngayon sa inyo. But you don't open email more often than you open your social media account. So, I recommend lahat ng posibleng paraan na pwede ka makontak na isang HR, ilagay mo dito. Kagaya ng mga Facebook nyo or Twitter nyo para mabilis tayo makapag-PM. Private message, makapag-invite for the next step. Okay? What else do you put here? You also put here your work options, yung mga work experience nyo. Pagdating po sa work options, you can see on the screen, you have 4 options na pwede nyo pagpilian. Parang switch lang yan. Yes, no switch, on, off switch. So you can choose here, example, looking for OJT, lagay mo yes if you're looking for OJT right now. And later on, pag hindi na, turn it off. Edi lagay mo na no. Diba? So depende yan kung anong mas trip nyo or anong mas pasok dun sa hinahanap nyo right now. What the system will do is it will try to match you with companies who are also looking for the same profile with what you have. Yan yung kagandahan ng tool natin. Hindi mo kailangan mag-door-to-door para mag-submit ng resume link ninyo. Okay? What else do you put here? You put here your school under education. Even later on, okay, pagka-graduate nyo, you can also put here your schools. Yung mga nag-take pa kayo ng further studies, pwede mo rin ilagay dito. Okay, so walang limit sa space yan. Pagdating ko sa seminars attended, ganun din. Kahit gaano karami, pwede nyo ilagay dito. Kahit magkopyahan pa kayo. Just make sure lang alam mo yung seminar na yon. Kaya baka matanong ka sa interview. Pagdating po sa certification, ganun din. Put all the certification programs that you've had, you put it here. Okay? When it comes to the achievement, do not limit your achievement only inside the school. Hindi lahat na nakikinig ngayon ay Dean's Lister. Hindi kayo lahat dito ay honor student. Diba? Ayan, nag-agree marami sa inyo. So, hindi lang po ang achievement nakabase sa academic excellence. Some of you are student leaders. So if you're active sa school, you also put it here kung ano yung mga pinagkakaabalahan nyo. And hindi lang sa loob ng school, even outside the school. If you're active in your barangay, halimbawa, isa kang tanod, ilagay mo dyan. Diba? Yan yung mga achievement ninyo. So you put it here. Bakit? Because what you're doing now is you're trying to market yourself more effectively to that prospective company. Okay? Now, when it comes to the skills and languages, ito yung common observation namin mga HR. Pagdating sa skills, nilalagay mo lang na skills yung mga umiikot lang sa course nyo. Hindi porkat communication arts ang course mo, com arts lang ang skills na alam mo. Hindi porkat engineering ang course mo, ang alam mo lang na skill ay pang-engineering. Hindi porkat tourism or HRM ang course mo, ang alam mo lang na skill ay pang-tourism at pang-HRM. Maybe some of you are into multimedia, into photography, into videography, into something else, arts, crafts, whatever. Lahat ng yan, skills nyo yan. Remember, what you're doing here is you're marketing yourself more effectively. Kaya kung ako sa inyo, ilagay mo dito lahat ng skills na alam ninyo. Pagdating po sa languages, ganun din. Huwag mong ilimit yan sa dalawang lengguwahe lang. Because I'm sure alam nyo na yung dalawa. Kung dalawa lang talaga alam nyo, din dalawa lang. Ano tong dalawang to? English and Tagalog or Filipino. Okay? Now, if you know other local dialect, Bisaya, Kapampangan, Chabacano, Ilonggo, you can also put it here. If you know foreign languages, German, French, Chinese, Japanese, diba, Korean, pwede mo ilagay dyan. Okay? Walang limit sa space yan. When it comes to the references, sigurado ko yung mga references nyo, kilala nyo. Ang malaking tanong dito kayo ba'y kilala nila? Sana oo, di ba? Kasi madalas pag tumatawag kami sa mga references nyo, hindi kayo maalala. So please tell them, ginawa nyo silang reference para at least they know what to tell about you. Okay? Now at this point, to make your life easier, kung sakali lang nakagawa ka na ng resume nyo in your Word file or maybe in your doc file, depende kung anong file nyo, PDF file, whatever file you have. Kung nakagawa ka na ng resume nyo, simple na lang. Just copy all the information inside dito. No, ilagay mo sa loob ng resume link. Just transfer them here inside the resume link para maging secured yung data nyo. Okay? Kung bakit secured, I'll tell you as we go along. Okay? So yung mga sinabi ko, I think alam nyo na yan. Alam nyo na yan. Okay? Itong mga susunod kong papakita, ito yung mga amazing na portion. Let me start with the portfolio section. Ano yung portfolio section? This is the part where you now upload evidence of your skills. Example, ano ebidensya na graduate na kayo later on? Diploma. Diba? Transcript. Ano pa? Toga? Hindi ebidensya yung toga. Okay? Kung ano man meron nyo, diba? Certificate, diploma, yan. Ebidensya yan. Okay? Kung transcript of records is evidence na graduate na kayo. Ano ebidensya na wala kayong criminal record? NBA clearance, police clearance, diba? Ano ebidensya na pwede ka pumunta sa ibang bansa? Passport, visa, lahat ng mga sinasabi mong mga skills mo or yung mga what you're claiming that you know, you can now support them here sa portfolio section by showing those documents. Diba? Anong ebidensya na ikaw ay healthy? Meron kang medical clearance. Anong ebidensya na pwede ka mag-drive ng sasakyan? Meron kang driver's license. Diba? So gets nyo na yung sinasabi ko. Ang point ko lang is you can now put the things here to support yung claim nyo of your skills. Now, you're starting to think, Sir, kung pare-pareho naman kaming graduate sa school namin, pare-pareho kami magkakaklase, same yung course namin, same yung school, same yung teacher, same yung curriculum, pare-pareho lang naman kami lahat, walang experience sa trabaho, how will we stand out? Ayan, di ba? Okay, ito ngayon yung isang magandang recommendation ko sa inyo on how you now stand out. You get your smartphones. Kunin mo yung mga smartphones nyo. Kung wala, manghiram sa kaibigan. Okay, hiram mo sa kaibigan mo. I-record mo yung selfie video mo. You say something interesting about yourself. Record it in about 30 seconds to 1 minute lang. Huwag na masyadong mahaba. Ano gagawin mo? Pretend that you are being interviewed by the HR. So you answer basic questions like, tell me something about yourself. O, di ba? Ano yung mga gasgas sa tanong natin? Why should we hire you? O, di ba? Just imagine na tinanong ka ng HR at sasagutin mo na lang siya. Ang maganda lang ngayon, recorded mo. So kung hindi mo type yung sagot, i-delete mo. Pag type mo, you save it. Then you upload it sa YouTube or sa Vimeo. Maraming mga video channel na libre, mga video converter sa online. Hanapin mo lang. And when you're done, you put that video link doon sa portfolio section nyo. O, di ba? This time, it will definitely make you stand out because depende na to sa diskarte mo on how you're going to present yourself. Okay? So I leave it up to you on how you do that. Now, another thing for you to do, na sure akong hindi to makokopya ng classmate mo, ay yung picture mo. Diba? So you put your profile picture here. Now, when it comes to the picture, hindi kailangan sobrang formal na formal. Hindi kailangan pumunta sa studio. Huwag na kayo gumastos. Ang importante dito, tumingin kayo sa camera. Plain background. Okay? Plain background, tumingin kayo sa camera. Wear something, of course. Wear something decent. Okay? Do not upload profile pictures that look like the right side of your screen. Yung mga sample na yan, hindi po maganda example yan. Okay? So, huwag kayong maglagay ng magandang kasi mga sample na profile picture. Now, another good thing pa that will make you stand out using the resume link is your cover photo. Yes, a picture paints 1,000 words. Yan ang kasabihan na very, very applicable dito. A lot of you who are listening today, hindi kayo gifted with writing skills. Hirap kayo i-express ang inyong feelings at inyong thoughts into words. Hindi mo ma-type, hindi mo ma-sulat. Tama? Hirap tayo eh. Bakit? Hindi natural sa atin yan. Pero pagdating sa picture, kayang-kaya mo i-express yung inyong personality. Look at the examples I'm showing you. Look at the one on the left. Ano siya? Isa siyang ophthalmologist or optometrist. Sabi naman ng iba, eye expert. Di ba? Ina sa kanan, ano siya? Sabi ng iba, sir, parang IT. Sir, techie siguro kasi maraming gadget, pati stapler, gadget niya. Di ba? Halimbawa, o sabi ng iba naman, sir, parang makalat. O depende na kung how you are going to interpret it. But now, the way I see it, itong taong to, multitasker. Okay? Another good example I'm showing you is this one. Someone from psychology, someone from neurologist, or maybe someone who knows left and right. Ganun lang kasimple. No? So, depende yan how you're going to express yourself. Okay? Another good example pa, ito. Itong person na to, ang gusto niya sabihin, there's no shortcut to success. You will be able to reach your goal by taking one step at a time. O, di ba? So, I'm showing you good example. Hindi yan member ng Akit Bahay Gang. Hindi rin po yan social climber, in case that's what you're thinking. So, kung nagpakita ko ng magaganda example, I will also show you yung mga hindi magandang example para wag niyong gagayahin. Huwag kayo magpapaka-misteryoso. Okay? Make sure you put your picture there. Okay? Kasi maraming pangalan ngayon interchangeable. Ako mismo, guilty ako dyan. My name is Kim. A lot of people think babae ako. Ako rin mismo, napagkakamalan ko yung mga aplikante, pinakita ko. Chris, George, Alex, Sam. O, diba? Minsan isipin ko, Joey, lalaki. Yung pala, babae. Diba? So you better put your picture there para at least alam ng HR who to expect. Okay? Now, when you make your resume link, dapat may laman talaga yan. Kasi kung walang laman yan, ganyan itsura niyan. Blanco. And how do you expect companies will look, or HR from companies will look at your profile if you submit to them resume links that look like this? It's like submitting a piece of a paper, bond paper, or long bond paper, short bond paper na walang laman except pangalan mo. And that's the same as this one. So hindi yan papansinin ng mga HR for sure. Okay? Sayang lang oras nyo at oras ng HR. Kailangan attractive. Okay? When I say attractive or catchy, do not overdo it naman. Now, this is just in my opinion. In my opinion, I think this one is not a good example. Kasi ang dating niya parang tamad, parang happy-go-lucky, parang chill-chill lang, no? Parang ganoon na dating. So, I leave it up to you on how you'll be, expressing yourself na dito. Okay? So, sa mga personality nyo. Alam niyo na anong dapat yung gawin at hindi yung dapat gawin. So, showing a very good example is si iExpert. Tignan mo, lahat ng detalye niya, kompleto. Everything from top to bottom, kompleto lahat ng details, including yung kanyang mga portfolio section na nagpapatunay na siya ay isang licensed ophthalmologist. Pinakita niya lahat ng mga posibleng hingiin pa sa kanya ng mga HR. So bakit ko sinabi sa inyo na napapabilis yung buhay dito? Hindi lang buhay nyo. Pati buhay rin ng HR napapabilis. Because once you submit all this information to that company, when the HR opens your resume link and sees everything about you, dalawa lang ang pwedeng mangyari niyan. One is, nahuli mo attention, gusto kanya ngayon kausapin or schedule for the next step, like interview or possibly job offer, or hindi ka nag-fit. Yun yung second. Diba? Para at least, ang maganda rito, hindi na pabalik-balik, hindi na siya tatawag para sabihin, hello ma'am, meron ka bang evidence na graduate ka na talaga sa school na yan? Can you send me your transcript? Diba? Can you send me yung mga evidence or yung mga sample skills or sample work mo kasi you are in IT or in graphic design? Diba? That's yung maibig ko sabihin. Huwag nang pabalik-balik, sayang yung oras. Okay? Time is of the essence, lalo na ngayon. So you put everything there, at least pag nakita ng HR, diretso na kagad sa pag-process sa inyo. Okay? A lot of you are now thinking, Sir, pag gumawa ako ng resume link at nilagay ko lahat ng information ko dyan, Baka naman yung mga data ko nakakalat na sa buong mundo. Baka naman yung mga information ko nakalantad na sa buong internet. The answer is no. Kaya nga siya tinawag na the most secured resume. Okay? Bakit siya tinawag na most secured resume? Because you have the ultimate control over your privacy settings. Follow the screen. Inside your dashboard, when you log in, you can go to your settings. Sa settings mo, to be specific, puntahan mo yung privacy settings. In your privacy settings, you choose the information that you want to show in public. Halimbawa lang you do not want to show your birthday. What do? Turn it off. Ayaw mo pakita yung address mo. What do? Turn it off. Ayaw mo pakita ang inyong references. What do? Turn it off. So lahat na naka-off, hindi lalabas sa public. At sino may control niyan? Kayo lang. O, di ba? Ang maganda pa rito, real-time update yan. Halimbawa, today, you decide not to show your birthday, your address, and references. And then 5 minutes later, you decide, sige, pakita ko na nga birthday ko. Turn it on. Real-time. 5 minutes later, the moment you save your settings, lahat na binigyan mo ng resume link, updated na rin sila real-time. As in real-time. Di ba? Ayos, di ba? Sige, tuloy natin. Tuloy pa natin to. So, reminders ko na lang sa mga late na dumating or kakakinig lang, when you make your resume link, make sure that your profile is interesting and attractive. Okay? Wag OA. Iba yung over naman yun. No? Wag naman ganun. So, make sure it's attractive, it's catchy. Complete all the information, especially your contact details. Kasi sayang naman lahat ng ginawa mo, nahuli mo attention, hindi ka makontak ng HR. So, better make sure nandyan yung mga contact details na updated. Okay? So, yan. So, tapos na tayo sa 2 steps. Last step na lang. Ano yung first step? Recap lang. First step is register. Wala tong bayad. Libre po yan. Second step is for you to complete the information. Yan ang pinaka-logical. And the last step now is for you to submit. So, you're now thinking, okay to paano ko gagamitin ngayon yung resume link? Bigyan kita ng iba-ibang paraan. Okay? Lahat ito practical application para makarelate kayo. Unang option, pumunta ka sa website ng jobs180.com. That's www.jobs180.com, and that's where you now start to look for companies. Type the companies that you're looking for. Pag may lumabas, edi good. Pag walang lumabas, edi wala. Okay? Huwag din pilitin. Okay? Now, you can also see there a lot of companies, a lot of company logos that you can shop around, you can choose, learn about the company, and if you want to be part of the company, I recommend you submit your resume link kahit na hindi ka pa qualified. Let me repeat what I just said. If you want to be part of an organization, if you want to be part of that company, even if you are not yet qualified, I recommend you give your resume link to that company. Bakit? Imagine, kung ngayong hapon, ngayong araw, nagsubmit ka ng resume link sa isang kumpanya na naghahanap ng 3 years experience na aplikante. Wala ka pang 3 years experience. Okay lang. Because nabigay mo na yung resume link mo sa kanya, pagdating ng 2024, siguro naman by that time, meron ka ng 3 years experience, di ba? Kasi nag-work ka na ngayon by 2021. By 2024, may 3 years experience ka na, pwede ka na ma-qualify dun sa position in-applyan mo. And you never know. That company might just contact you later on, provided that your details are still updated. So you have to update those information real time. Ayos ba? Ayos, di ba? Wala na pabalik-balik. Hindi mo na kailangan magbalik-balik dun sa kumpanya para sabihin, nag-apply po ko sa inyo last year. Ako po yung OJT nyo 3 months ago. Wala lang ganun. Okay? Another practical application. When you submit your resumes through email, how do you do that? Madalas, ito ginagawa natin. Mag-email tayo, sasabihin natin, Dear HR Manager, I would like to apply for the following position. And this is my resume. Ano gagawin nyo? I-attach mo yung Word file mo or PDF file mo. Tama? If that is how you're doing it, wag mo nang gawin yon. Wag ka na mag-attach ng anything sa email. Pampabagal lang yan, tsaka makaluma na yung style na yan. Bakit ko sinabi yon? Kasi hindi mo na kailangan talaga mag-attach ng anything. Ang gagawin mo, i-type mo na lang doon sa email mo yung resume link mo. Example, Dear HR Manager, I would like to apply for the following position. And this is my resume. In this example, Antonio Juan de la Cruz, 01.jobs180.com. That's it. Submit. I look forward to your information soon. Thank you. Send. Every time meron kang babaguhin sa details mo, hindi mo na kailangan padalhan yung HR. Kasi kung ginagamit mo mga attachment, ang kulit niyan eh. Ang kulit, saka nakakapagod. Ano gagawin mo pag nagbago ka ng phone number? Dear HR Manager, this is now my updated resume. Mamaya-maya, 2 weeks later, nagpalit ka ng phone number. Ano gagawin mo? Dear HR Manager, this is now my updated most recent resume. O, di ba? Every time meron kang babaguhin, padala ka na padala doon sa HR. Nakapagod yan. Hindi lang sa part nyo, kundi sa part din namin sa mga HR to keep track which one yung pinaka-updated na details. So this time, wala na kailangan. Palit-palit na lang kayo ng details nyo. Update na lang sa loob ng resume link. Ayos ba? Ayos pa. Okay, tuloy pa natin to. Okay? If you want to print your resume, this is now the good news. You can now print your resume link. No matter how much information you have, the system will try to compress everything into one page. So kung gusto mo talaga mag-print ng papel at mag-submit sa mga kumpanya, walang kaso. Pumunta ka lang sa dashboard mo, hanapin mo yung print na option at mamili ka kung 1 column or 2 column version ang gusto mo i-print. What the system will do is it will try to compress everything into one page para tipid na. O, di ba? Now, usapang tipid. Ito mas tipid pa. Gusto mo mag-print ng resume pero gusto mo magtipid. Etong gawin mo. Gumawa ka ng resume link card. Ano tong resume link card? Sa isang pirasong long bond or short bond paper, mag-design ka ng maraming resume link card. No, maliliit lang, parang business card ang dating. In one piece of paper, I think you can make 10, 20 sets of cards. Depende sa size ng papel mo. At ang importante na ilagay mo dyan sa resume link card mo ay syempre ang inyong resume link. Diba? So, hindi mo na kailangan ilagay lahat ng details mo sa resume sa loob ng maliit na papel. Lagay mo lang resume link mo. And that is what you now give to the companies when you start applying. Look at the picture I'm showing you. Diba? Tipid. Hindi lang tipid. Secured pa. Tingnan nyo. If you submit yung big paper resume nyo, long bond paper, sinubmit mo sa isang kumpanya, nag-apply ka. For some reason, nilipad ng hangin. Yung nakapulot ng papel na yan, alam na buong detalye mo because everything is in that one-page printout. Now, if you lose that small piece of paper, don't worry. Meron kang peace of mind. Bakit? Yung mga kapulot niyan, limited sa privacy settings mo because you have the ultimate control over your privacy settings kahit na i-type niya yan sa browser. Okay? So, ang recommend ko rin sa mga nakikinig, use the gadget. Take advantage of the technology. Use your gadget, your laptop, your cell phone, your tablet, kung ano man. Okay? Para ngayon kasi, this day and age, technology na ang gamitin natin. Kung mano-mano pa rin kayo, wala kayong gadget, okay lang. Huwag kayong malungkot. You can still submit to the companies by just simply writing the resume link on a piece of paper. As simple as that. Okay? So, again, sa mga nagtatanong, ano yung mga guidelines ko para makagawa ako ng job-winning resume? Ito yung guideline ko. Ito yung checklist ko. Are you using the right tool? That's the ultimate question. There are so many tools right now, but these are the things that you should consider when you make your resume. And that is the resume link. It already addresses the following. Number 1, security ng information mo. I hope by this time, you have peace of mind. Ito na ang pinaka-secure na information because you have the ultimate control over your privacy setting. Pangalawa, the speed of hire becomes faster. It becomes more efficient because whatever you need, whatever the HR needs, you can already put it inside the resume link. Another thing is that it's flexible. If you want to print, just in case lang, gusto mo talaga mag-print ng resume nyo, you have the option to print it. And you don't have to worry about saan ko sinave yung file na yan, saan ko tinago, wala nang ganun. Just log into your account and print. Mamili ka lang kung 1 column or 2 column version. At higit sa lahat, wala po itong bayad. Tipid po ito. Walang bayad. Okay? Ang kailangan mo lang, of course, internet. Sa mga nag-iisip sa inyo, sir, kailangan ko ng pan-data, pwede ka naman makakonect sa internet na walang data eh. Punta ka sa libreng wifi. Di ba? Baka yung kapitbahay nyo may libreng wifi, o makagamit ka muna. Later on, pag may trabaho ka na, may sweldo na, bayaran mo yung wifi niya. O di ba? Bawi-bawi lang yan. No? Give and take. And there are a lot more benefits to just what I've mentioned. Marami pang iba. You can share your resume link to whatever platform you want to share it to. Gusto mo i-text? Gusto mo siya i-private message? Gusto mo i-send via Viber? Kayo bahala. Pwede mo i-share Basta kayo may control. Ganun lang kasimple. No? Kung hindi mo ito binigay sa kahit kanino, hindi malalaman to nung taong yon. And you don't have to save it to whatever USBs or hard drive. No need na. Wala rin tong mga tipong version na kailangan pang compatible. Walang ganun. Lahat ito compatible. Pwede lahat. Okay? So, shout out na lang ako. Shout out to all our school partners. By the grace of God, right now we have about 400 plus colleges and university partners nationwide, including your alma mater. So thank you. We're very thankful for this opportunity that we're able to do this kahit tayo nasa loob ng bahay, kahit kayo ay nasa loob ng bahay. So hindi tayo physically nagpe-present, pero nakakatulong pa rin tayo, especially if you have friends or relatives whom you think would need this tool. Please share this to them. Okay? Sa mga nagtatanong naman ng mga frequently asked questions, sasagutin ko na. Ito kasi yung mga common questions na kadalasan tinatanong sa akin. Ang tanong, can I give my resume link to companies who do not know about jobs180.com? The answer is absolutely yes. It depends kung sino ang bibigyan mo. Ikaw may ultimate control niyan. Okay? Pangalawang question, is this the same as other job platform like LinkedIn, JobStreet, iba pang mga job site? The answer is no. Meron tong dalawang major difference. Yes. Lalo na pagdating sa security. Okay. Of course, explain lang ako Okay. With respect to the other sites that I've mentioned, let me just use JobStreet as an example para lang mas makarelate, no? Para makarelate. You can only use JobStreet resume if you're applying to companies who are also using JobStreet. If you're applying to a company who is not using JobStreet, you cannot use your JobStreet resume anymore. With your resume link, you can use this to any type of company, any platform, wherever they are. Kahit sa loob ng Pilipinas or sa labas ng Pilipinas, pwede mong applyan. Kahit hindi niya alam ang Jobs 180, basta alam niya ang resume link mo, pwede niya mabuksan ang profile at makita according to your settings. That's the first difference. Pangalawang difference, kung nabigay mo na, kung na-submit mo na ang JobStreet resume mo sa isang company, wala ka nang pwedeng baguhin. Lahat ng data mo nandun na yan sa HR. Yes. Hindi na magbabago yan real time. With your resume link, na-submit mo today, mali pala number mo, na-submit mo today, mali pala yung spelling mo, you can always edit it. Enter, save it. Real-time update. Lahat ng binigyan mo ng resume link, updated real-time. Ayos? Okay, tuloy tayo sa number 3 question. Number 3 question is the easiest question. Ang tanong dito is, can I keep my information secured? I hope by this time, na-convince ko na kayo na ito na ang pinaka-secured na platform. Okay? That's the reason why I'm sharing this to you. Okay? Number 4, I think this is the most important question. How often should you update your resume link? Ang sagot dito, hindi araw-araw, hindi linggo-linggo, hindi buwan-buwan, hindi taon-taon. Ang sagot dito ay every time. Every time na meron kayong babaguhin, lalo na ang contact details nyo. Yan ang importante. You have to update your contact details every time na meron kayong papalitan doon. Kasi yan yung paraan para makontak kayo ng mga companies. And the last question is just a trivia. Why is this called jobs180.com? This is called jobs180.com because we want to turn your life around. Yan, di ba? 180 degrees. Hindi siya 360. Kasi kung 360, bumalik ka lang kung saan ka galing. Di balik-balik ka lang, balik-balik ka lang, balik-balik ka lang. Di wala nangyari. Di ba? So you have to do it 180 degrees. It's a straight line towards your career goal. Okay? Just in case may tanong pa kayo, nahiya magtanong, pumunta lang kayo sa website namin, sa jobs180.com, or email me here sa info@jobs180.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram para makakuha kayo ng mga latest trends in recruitment. Okay? Again, my name is Kim Chu Wa. Don't forget yung Wa. Okay? Baka Kim Chu lang maalala nyo. Na nagsasabing, be safe at isang magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Thank you.
Again, thank you very much. That was Sir Kim Chua with his talk on ResumeLink. And we have here Sir Kim right now for the Q&A. So all our viewers, once again, you could use the comment box. Type nyo lang dyan ang inyong questions. Tapos address ko siya kay Sir Kim. In the meantime, Sir Kim, I have a question here for you. With regard to yung sa real-time update, yun yung last point na sinabi nyo kanina. And it's one of the main features of the ResumeLink. So, whenever may in-update ang ating viewers sa kanilang ResumeLink, will the companies be informed na na-update tong ResumeLinks nila?
Oh, Thank you, Sir Robert. Yung sa pag-update ng resume link, normally, this is the behavior of an HR. So, share ko na sa inyo, mga audience, no? Kadalasan, ang ginagawa ng mga HR sa dami-dami ng mga nag-apply sa kanila, hindi naman nila yung babalikan isa-isa rin eh. 'Di ba? Unless na lang, meron talaga silang tina-target na, no? Sa alam na nila yan. But usually, how they do this is, they're going to filter it, may filtering tools, yung HR, may filtering tools yung HR using jobs180.com, no, to be able to filter last updated resumes or last updated resume links. Now they can do that and see sino yung last updated. Example, lalabas last updated within 30 days, last updated within 2 weeks, last updated within 1 day, example. And then syempre, logic will tell you lang na kung ikaw yung HR, mas uunahin mo yung mga mas recent na nag-update, lalo na kasi yan ang indicator na meron kang binago or baka ikaw ay nag-update ng profile mo at naghahanap ka ng work. So that's the reason why I encourage you to update your information from time to time, diba? Especially yung contact details nyo. Okay, so ganun siya. That's the reason why I recommend that you update it para mas mabilis kayo masama dun sa mga last updated na mga resume links. Ayan. Okay? So I hope na-answer ko yung question ni Sir Robert.
Okay, thank you, Sir Kim. Yes, nasagot naman ang question. Now, Sir Kim, we want our viewers to make their resume link as soon as possible. So dun sa paggawa nila ng resume link, earlier you said that it's important to use a valid email, hindi yung facebook.com. Pag nila ipipilit na valid email to. What about, sir, yung kanilang mga accounts sa school? Yung
you mean school parang school provided email? Is that what you're referring to? Okay. Yes. Thank you, Sir Robert. Well, to all the audience who are using the school official email, diba? The school provided email sa inyo, you may register using that email. But I recommend you use your personal email. Bakit? I'll tell you why. When you graduate, sooner or later, I'm sure you will graduate, no? Kahit gaano katagal pa yan, sigurado ako, gagraduate ka pa rin. Diba? Tiwala lang, sabi nga. No? As you graduate, baka makalimutan nyo nang i-update yung inyong information, yung inyong resume link. So, ano mangyayari? The companies now, when they send you notification, you will no longer be able to receive it if you're using the school email na ginamit ninyo, no, yung school provided email. That's why para iwas na sa madadagdag tandaan pa, madadagdag aalahanin mo later on, wag mo nang antayin pa yung the time na kailangan mo pa pala siya i-update at nakalimutan mo. Ngayon pa lang, 'di ba? Dalawa lang naman 'yan eh. Either you are done with your registration. So if you're done with your registration using your personal email, then you're good to go. If you've used a school provided email, then I recommend you immediately edit your email to your personal email na. Okay? And then the other option lang, the other possible scenario is hindi ka pa nakapag-register. So kung mag-register ka pa lang ng Jobs 180, wag mo nang gamitin yung school provided na email po. I recommend you just go for your personal email. Okay? So yun. Okay. I hope na-address.
Thank you, Sir Kim. So that's all the time we have for your Q&A, Sir Kim. So to our viewers, once again, go to jobs180.com. Mag-register na kayo for your account. If wala pa, and then if meron na, you could just log in, take a look at yung contents niya, yung mga openings. So thank you, Sir Kim. And
yes, Sir Robert. They can also go to the DMMA na link. Actually, yung link nila is schools.jobs180.com/DMMA-CSP. Kasi yung pangalan ng school nila officially is DMMA College of Southern Philippines. So, if they go to schools.jobs180.com/DMMA-CSP, pwede rin sila doon mag-register at doon nila makikita rin yung mga ibang mga companies, no, na pwede nila i-explore. Yun lang, just sharing. Okay?
Sige, Sir Kim. Baka pwede natin lagay dyan sa comment box para makita
sige. Gagawin natin yan. Okay. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. Be safe. Bye-bye.
Okay, once again, that was Sir Kim with his talk on ResumeLink. That's our first topic. So, move on na tayo. Punta tayo sa ating second topic, which, again, sabi ko kanina when I was introducing our topics, it's about communication skills. Now, I would like to introduce our speaker. Joseph John Mauricio began his career with Alorica in 2017 as a learning and development trainer. Prior to joining the BPO industry, he was an ESL teacher for 10 years. He studied Bachelor of Fine Arts, major in painting at the University of Santo Tomas. As a senior L&D trainer, he is highly proficient in rolling out near hire training, new employee orientation, and foundation skills training across retail, domestic sales, technical support, and telecommunication programs. He is also well versed in facilitating organizational development training sessions that target management, behavioral, and technical skills. His 17-year BPO career highlights his top rating performance. He is a four-time top trainer of the quarter awardee and was Alorica's overall top 4 L&D trainer of 2020. Okay, let's all welcome Mr. Joseph John Mauricio from Alorica.
Hi, thank you, Robert. Thank you,
Good
everybody.
afternoon, Sir Joseph.
Good afternoon. I hope you guys are keeping safe out there, and thank you for having us. I'd like to say before we get started with everything, thank you to everyone that made this happen. Thank you, Jobs 180. Thank you to DMMA College. You guys, if it weren't for you, thank you. We wouldn't be able to do this today. I wouldn't have the opportunity to share the information I have with you. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Welcome.
Okay, sir. So I can now see your screen, your audio and
Alright.
video is fine. So I'll be
Great.
heading backstage. Tapos balik na lang ako dito for your
Okay.
Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. All right, thank you guys, and thank you for joining us today. Yes, we're going to be talking about communication skills tips. I want to say I was listening to Kim earlier with all the tips that he was giving for resumes, and I'm sold. I am absolutely sold. The one thing that stuck with me that was very, very interesting was when he said, you want to make sure you stand out. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. I mean, out of all of the people that send in resumes, all of the people that go for applications, how do you stand out? One of the ways that we can stand out by using the right tool is going to be your skills with communication. So again, thank you, Davao Merchant Marine Academy of College of Southern Philippines, and thank you, Jobs 180, for this opportunity. Let's talk about communication skills. So first things first, when we talk about communication skills, this is like the first thing that comes out in pretty much every industry. Of course, number one that would come to mind would be the BPO industry. But communication skills as a whole applies to pretty much everything you would do in whatever job you would undertake. So to kind of set ourselves in the right direction, let's talk about this quick quote from Roy T. Bennett. He's an author. He wrote this little book called The Light in the Heart. It's a bit of an inspirational book. And he says, listen with curiosity, speak with honesty, act with integrity. The greatest problem with communication is we don't listen to understand. We listen to reply. When we listen with curiosity, we don't listen with the intent of reply. We listen for what's behind the words. So I think that's kind of what happens with us these days when we try to communicate. But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to help you out. We're going to go through some of factors that can help us improve our communication skills. But first off, communication skills are the combined abilities. So it's not just one thing, skills from the word itself. It's more than one thing. It's a combined group of abilities or factors that we use when we give or receive information. So what are those factors? We can narrow it down to these four major factors. The first one, of course, is listening. Next is speaking. Next is observing. And finally, empathizing. Don't worry, we'll go through each one of these and we'll talk about a little bit of the tips and tricks on how to improve them. So starting off, let's talk about listening. So the first thing you would think of would be speaking when you talk about communication skills. But listening is also a big part of how you communicate well. Why? Because you have to give your speaker your full attention. Now, whatever the environment may be, whether it be, let's put that in terms of recruitment. Let's say you're applying for a job. You walk in, or maybe you're doing it over the phone or via a video app. There are a lot of things that can happen in the background that can distract you. So all you have to do, stay focused. Be in that conversation with that person. And how do we show it to them? Let's show it to them by giving verbal or even nonverbal cues. It depends really if you're face to face. If you're face to face, of course, the nonverbal cues will work, meaning nodding your head or smiling or gesturing. But if it's on the phone, for example, verbal cues can be things like, yeah, right, I get it. Very simple and easy to do. Next, let's talk about listening to gather information. Think about the purpose of listening. Why do we pay attention and why do we listen? Because we want to know something. We want to gather information. So, of course, don't formulate your responses while you're listening. Save that for later. Get as much data as you can at the beginning. Let the speaker finish. At the end, look at the data and analyze. Then you can reply. And finally, for listening, actively listen. Take a more active role when you listen to the person speaking. So think about paraphrasing. What's paraphrasing, you might ask? Simply put, it's you using your own words to repeat back to that person what they just said. Why do we do this? To show to that person that, yes, number one, we understand. And number two, if we don't understand, then they can correct us. And that's okay. And of course, finally, giving affirmations. That's where you say, oh, I agree. Just like with what Kim said earlier, I totally agree with the skills. Moving on, let's talk about speaking. So for speaking, this is like the major thing that people think about when you think of communication skills. So first, start off with confidence. Being confident can be difficult sometimes, especially if it's the first time that you're trying something. But don't shy away from your mistakes, because if you don't try it, you'll never know if you're doing it right, and you'll never know how to get corrected for it. So confidence is a very big thing, especially putting that in let's say, the scenario of you applying for work. The recruiter's really going to look at how you speak and how you hold yourself in that conversation. So confidence will be a very big factor as well. Next, talk, talk, talk. The more you speak, the better you get. Well, a lot of people say practice makes perfect, but I would rather say practice makes progress. It sometimes takes time to get better at what we do, but as long as we are trying and pushing, we'll get there eventually. So don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to practice. Find somebody to practice with. Have a conversation with them. And finally, use technology. I think Kim also mentioned this earlier with technology. Yeah, technology is there. It's everywhere. You've got the internet in your hands with your devices, so use it. There's so many other things you can do online to find out more about how to improve your communication skills. But also, a very interesting thing that I always tell my trainees when I train in Alorica is that try recording your voice and see what happens. If you're like me and you get really cringy listening to your own voice, because I do that, I still do that to this day. I listen to myself speak on a recording. I still get really cringy about it, but it helps me improve. Why? Because I can listen and pick out, oh, this is something I didn't do so well, or maybe this is something I could have done better. Now, moving on to the next one. This is something not a lot of people notice or pay attention to when you think about communication skills, and that is observing. So when we observe, we're not just observing the words being spoken, but we're taking note of additional details. So take notes. Gather all the details first. You can't fill or complete a puzzle without all the puzzle parts. So you're going to need to take all these little bits and pieces of data, gather them together, maybe even group them together and see which ones go together, and then analyze that information. Another thing that would be very useful for everyone, when supplying, is knowing the audience. So I have been to a lot of recruitment interviews, and the most common thing that happens is that question that Kim also mentioned earlier, which is, tell me something about yourself. Now, you have to understand, the recruiter has probably asked that question 100 times that day. So for sure, they're getting the same responses, if not more, that day. So you want to know, okay, this person's a recruiter. They've probably heard the answer to this question. They probably heard the same, hi, my name is Joseph. I'm 40 years of age, and so on, and studied at the University of Santo Tomas. So instead of doing that, be a little bit different. Know what they're looking for. So what would a recruiter look for? They'd probably look for your abilities, your skills. What can you do? Talk about that. So knowing your audience can really help you communicate better with them. And finally, for observing, listen with more than just your ears. So what does that mean? Simply means detect emotions. So listen not just for the words or the facts that are being told to you, but think about what's driving that sentence or what's driving that person to say that thing. What's the underlying emotion? And just the opposite of when we were giving nonverbal cues, we're going to be listening or looking at nonverbal cues as well. So if you've got that face to face or that video interaction, you can check, oh, like, are they smiling? Did they enjoy what I said? You can look and kind of read their facial expression and then from there communicate even better and more effectively. Now, finally, empathizing. Now, this is near and dear to my heart because when I train in my classes at Alorica, I always remind my trainees, hey, empathy is the number one thing. Empathy is the number one thing. Why? Because in the world that we live in today, ladies and gentlemen, um, everything's automated. Everything's a computer now. So I remember I had a conversation earlier today, and someone said to me, my dear friend said to me, um, what makes us different from computers if the computers can do our jobs? Well, it's this, the heart, empathizing. So, what is empathy? A lot of people will say putting yourself in someone's shoes. I would rather just describe it as not just understanding someone's emotion, but maybe sharing that emotion is a better description. So, what do you have to do to improve that? Get out of yourself. So, take a step back from who you are and what you do and change your perspective. A change in perspective can definitely help you understand where others are coming from. And because you changed your perspective, you can now communicate better with them. Talking about biases as well. So there are things that we like and we don't like. There are things that we enjoy and we don't enjoy. And sometimes that affects how we communicate with other people. Well, let's admit it, there's always going to be somebody that we like talking more to than others. And what happens is that our communication gets hindered or stopped because of those biases. So instead, be aware of the things that you do and don't like. That way you can kind of tell, oh, okay, am I being really straightforward? Am I being a little bit different with this person as compared to this other person? And finally, you'll never be able to learn something about someone and communicate well if you don't ask better questions. A lot of things that I say in my classes as well when I train is ask better questions. Don't just ask questions for the sake of asking questions, especially in an environment where, let's say, you're getting interviewed and the interviewer asks you, do you have any questions? And you just think of a random question to ask. It would be better to ask something that's more relevant for you. That way, you can get a better idea of what is it exactly that you should be doing, right? So you can kind of get that idea, like what's between the lines, what's happening behind this. So all in all, putting all of those together, those are your four major factors, but I have some bonus tips on helping you improve your communication skills. Engaging your audience. So as a trainer, my experience is I do my classes either on site, which has been changed because of the recent events. We all know we're all doing things virtually now. So I have to keep people in my class engaged. So I have to always ask them questions. How are you doing? What do you think? Get the opinion of people. So keeping your audience or the person you're speaking with engaged or included in that conversation will help you converse better with them. Simplify your language. Again, I say this all the time in my classes for Alorica. Simplify. Not everybody uses the same words that we know. Not everybody knows the terms that we know. So if you were able to simplify your language and keep it easy to understand, you lessen the effort for the listener. It's easier for them to get you. And feedback. Feedback is great. Do not be afraid. Let me tell you a story. At the very beginning of my career, way back in 2004, I was scared of feedback. I hated it. I hated it because I didn't like being told I was wrong. I mean, nobody likes being told you're wrong. But if you don't know what you're doing wrong, you won't know how to fix it. So feedback is always and should be always welcome. Master the art of timing. There are times where we're supposed to say something, but we don't say it, or we say it a little too late. So timing is everything. It happens quite a lot when I do my classes where I have people react to something I say, and it takes them a bit of some time before they get there. So we want to be able to respond in a certain way where it's still relevant within that time period. Next is be curious. Again, if I guess I can say this in a way where everybody can relate to it. If you like somebody, let's say there's somebody special, and you kind of, yeah, you're really into this person, you really like that person. What is the first thing that you do? You're gonna ask questions about them, right? You're gonna be curious. You want to know everything about that person. You're gonna find out everything they do, short of hopefully not being, too intense with your curiosity. But you're going to be curious, and being curious helps you learn more. And the more you learn, the more you know, the more you can have a conversation about it, and the better you can communicate what you're thinking to that person, because now you know what they could understand. Use it or lose it. Basically, I tell my trainees this as well. If they go through a class, they learned something new, hey, keep practicing. Practice, practice, practice. Because if you don't, you're going to forget. I know this for a fact. I've learned a couple of other languages besides English and Filipino. Unfortunately, I don't have anybody to practice with. So I lost those languages I learned. I don't know how to speak it anymore. And that's sad, because what about all the effort I put in to learn it? So please use it or lose it. And finally, I guess everything that kind of boils down to this is, culturally speaking, we're not very specific when we speak. You know this, I know this. Somebody asks you, hey, where are you? We're already here at the meeting place. And you tell them, oh, I'm on my way. But they asked where you were. They weren't asking what you're doing. So we need to be more specific. So what I'm talking about here is, overall, when you're communicating, to improve your skills, think about the other person. Think about the things outside of just speaking a language or speaking like yourself, but think outside of just speaking as a whole, because there are a lot more factors than just speaking when it comes to communicating properly and communicating well. Now, I know you have questions, and I know that we have kind of set it up where we have the questions Q&A portion after this, but I know that some of you might be thinking, so how am I going to use this? Where am I going to use this? Well, there are many different places you can use your communication skills, but of course, the first thing that everybody's going to be thinking of is the BPO industry. All right? Communication does play a major role, but let me be clear. A lot of people say, oh, the business process outsourcing industry, isn't that a call center? Not really, right? Call center is just a small portion of a BPO or a BPO industry. So basically, what is BPO? It refers to the process of contracting standard business functions to be handled by a party outside of the company. Simply put, you have a company that they either have no means, or they choose to get someone else like Alorica to do some of the functions that that company can't do or doesn't want to do. So that's basically what the BPO is. So it's not restricted to just, hi, thank you for calling. It could also be other things, IT, HR, recruitment, all of that stuff. Now, I'm sure by this point you're a little bit curious of Alorica, so let me tell you something about us. Alorica is a leading provider of business process and customer satisfaction outsourcing solutions that span the entire customer lifecycle. But yeah, that's very technical. So simply put, we make lives better one interaction at a time. So if you want to find out a little bit more about us, here's a few more numbers and a few more details about Alorica. And you can definitely use your communication skills here. And of course, add us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter with Alorica PH. And thank you again, Jobs 180. You can look for us on Jobs 180 as well. It's https:// jobs180.com/ facebook.com/Alorica Philippines. So that's pretty much it for my tips and tricks for communication skills. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. And thank you again, Robert, and thank you 180 for Jobs 180 for giving me the time. Guys, I think we move on to the question and answer portion.
Yes, thank you so much, Sir Joseph. Thank you for your talk and your relatable examples. I bet yung ating mga viewers could relate dun sa need
I
to
mean,
know more about
think about it.
the
I did
person
that.
they're talking about. Ako naman nakarelate dun sa having to listen to your voice, yung voice ko. That's one thing I do as well. Nagka-cringe din ako, but I understand that it's unnecessary. So yeah, it's pretty much very relatable. So
Thank you.
to our viewers, please type your comments sa comment box as soon as possible. Sayang kasi in our other webinars, na dumadating lang yung questions nyo when we're already transitioning to the next talk. So please ask your questions now, type them sa comment box. And we are monitoring it so that we could read it para kay Sir Joseph. Okay. Sir Joseph, in the
Thank you.
meantime, I would like to ask you a question
Go ahead.
regarding communication skills. I know that part of it is written skills. So I would like to ask about yung sa email, sa writing of emails. If you have an advice for our viewers, because yung iba I think masyadong concerned about how it will appear, yung tone. And I think from my experience, yung mga fresh grad, sobrang haba ng emails nila na I think ang dami din nilang inisip before sending it. So maybe you could say something about drafting emails sa ating mga viewers.
Sure. Let's unpack that. So, written word. A lot of people tell me that, oh, Joseph, I'm better at writing than I am speaking.
Yes.
I don't believe that. That might be controversial, I know. But I don't believe it when people tell me that I'm better at writing than speaking because they come from the same place. The only difference is you have more time when it's written. So if I were to give you a major piece of advice, when writing something, let's say you're writing a letter to a recruitment office or a letter of intent, for example, you want to be concise because imagine this, and I'm sure everybody has had this experience. Have you ever opened your Facebook chat? Yeah. And then somebody sent you a message and you opened it and the text is like this big, like it's a block of text. Let me ask you this. Do you actually read it?
TLDR.
Oh man, I definitely do not read it. Even my posts on Facebook, if I see somebody post something really long, scroll. So keep it short and simple. Keep it concise, direct, straight to the point. What do you want to say? So my biggest idea here is think before you write it down. And then once you've written it down, take the time because it's written. You can take the time to go back, review it, check it. Do you have any spelling errors or do you have any punctuation errors? And before you send that thing off, or whether it be an email or a text message, before you send it off, you 100% have faith in what you wrote down. So I think that's the best tip I can give you, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question.
Thank you, Sir Joseph, for your answer. I have another question.
Sure.
This one is about, I guess, reputation when it comes to fresh grad, new employees. What are the most common errors in communication that you see from them specifically?
Usually, if you've got someone who's new to the industry, or any industry for that matter, when they try to communicate their ideas, they try to overdo it. So basically, instead, and I'm going to go back to being simple and basic, is that what happens is they try to put all these ideas, they stuff all these ideas into one sentence, and it makes it very difficult to understand. So again, simplify. That's one of the major things I notice with people that are fresh grads or newly out of college or no experience. Another thing that I notice usually is the fear of like doing things because, oh, I don't know, I've never done this. A lot of people will always say like, I don't have experience, I don't know what to do. We get that, like, especially for ourselves. Like I myself, I'm a trainer from Alorica, learning and development, 4 years. And before that, I was a teacher. So I get that. Everybody knows this, that you don't have experience, but it doesn't mean that you can't learn from what you already have. When you say no experience, of course, you're pertaining to no job experience, but that doesn't mean you don't have real life experience. You can still draw from experiences in real life that you can use whenever you have a conversation. I guess best example would be in recruitment. If they ask you questions like to tell them about yourself, don't talk about what's in the resume because it's already there. It's already in the resume. It's already on jobs 180. So what else is there to talk about? Talk about you. Talk about who you are. Talk about the things you like, the things that makes you you. That's something that would be, and you'd be very comfortable doing that, regardless of the experience level that you have. So thank you very much.
I thank you,
That
Sir
helps.
Joseph. So Joseph, if you're looking at the comments now, you could see that a
Sure.
lot of our viewers are third year students. I'm looking
Oh,
at it now. There are a lot that are third year students. What can you say to them that would apply more to someone still studying, or maybe something that they should be doing now so that once they graduate, they are more prepared for work?
ah, well, I'm sorry, but like third year for me was a long time ago. But if there's one thing I want everybody to start doing as early as now, or not just for preparation for starting your careers, not just for that, but as a whole, like this is my uncle advice: start reading. Grab a book you think you could enjoy and really dig into. Read stuff, and not just read because you were told by your teacher to read. Because I remember when I was in school, I hated that, but eventually reading really helps. You'll learn more words. You'll be more expressive because books are usually very expressive. Um, so I think for like someone that's just about just on the precipice of moving into a professional career, uh, getting prepared, just your own skill set can be grown just simply by reading. Uh, Learn things, experience things. Don't kind of put yourself in that box where, oh, this is my course, this is all I can do. You can go beyond. There's so many things. I mean, look at me. Best example. I'm a fine arts painting major. How did I become an English teacher for 10 years and a learning and development trainer in Alorica? I don't know. But I can tell you this, it's definitely through reading. There you go. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Sir Joseph. I'll align ko rin to sa one of the points of Sir Kim regarding yung sa resume link, yung paglagay nyo sa inyong skills. You don't have to put all the skills there that are directly related to your course. My favorite example is if you are a culinary major and you put sa skills nyo cooking, so doesn't add much to the content of your resume. So yeah, reading as early as now would help you build your skills and prepare you for working. Okay. Thank you, Sir Joseph. I think that's all the
Thank you,
time we have
Robert.
for the Q&A.
Sure.
So to everyone, once again, check the profile of Alorica sa jobs180.com. You can see it underneath your screen. It's scrolling right now, jobs180.com/Alorica Philippines. Again, that's jobs180.com/Alorica Philippines. Okay? Thank you so much once again, Sir Joseph. Hope to have
Thank you,
you again
Robert.
sa future
Thank you,
ones.
everybody. Bye. Take care.
Right.
Stay safe.
Okay, so that's our second topic. Let's move on to our third and last topic, which is new age career opportunities. Now, I would like to introduce our speaker. In her 2 years of working as a talent acquisition associate in VXI, April has been an integral part of the company's growth. She is responsible for doing the groundwork for marketing strategies specific to employee referral program, one of the leading sources of applicants for the company. Let's welcome Ms. April Joy Esma from DXI Global. Good
Hi, thank
afternoon,
you
Ms.
so much, Sir Robert.
Yes, nice to have you here with us. So, try na po natin ang inyong share screen, and once it's okay, you can start.
All
And it's
right. So I
currently
think it's there.
loading.
Okay.
I can see it. I'm not sure if it's in full screen. Is it full screen na ba sa inyo? I can see lang sa taas. Can you try changing the slides lang? Let's look at lang the
I
second
am
part.
not the one currently controlling po.
Ah,
It's
you're
Miss
not the
ano po.
one.
Yes po.
Sige po. I think, yeah, I think we're good with that. So I'll be heading backstage. So once again, I'll just be back after the presentation for the Q&A. Thank you very much, Miss AJ. You can start, Miss.
All right, thank you. So, hello everyone. I'm April, so you can call me AJ. I'm from VXI. I've worked here for 2 years already. So right now I am in the office. So unfortunately, I will not be able to remove my face mask due to safety protocol. So if you're wondering what I look like, let's all just remember we're all made in the image and likeness of God. Okay. Sige. So I will begin. So I will be talking about new age careers, growth in the BPO industry. Right. So next slide po. Okay, so let's start. When we think of new age, while I was reading this, while I was researching, everything that I was able to see talaga were regarding new age in reference to a movement focusing on new approaches to traditional Western culture. So it focuses mostly on spirituality. Now, in this context, we will be talking about the new age in terms of the information age. So, what is the information age? It's the rapid shift from the traditional industry established by the Industrial Revolution to an economy primarily based upon information technology. Now, I'm not an expert on this matter. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a very techie person nga eh, as a matter of fact. But I am a person who watched like everything changed before my very eyes. So when we say rapid, it was very rapid for me talaga, especially in my age. So I remember when I was a kid, we used to buy newspapers from newsstands, and then less than half a decade later, the newspapers were on my parents' computers. And a few years after that, they were on my phone. So that's how rapidly the world changed around me. Right? So right now, in this day and age, we are one click away from getting all the information and all the help that we need. So I don't actually remember the last time I finished a task without using the computer, without asking Google what to do. Right? So right now, when we are in the present time in which many things are done by computers and large amount of information are available because of computer technology naman, there have been new business models that have emerged in the information age. So next slide, please. All right. So these are just some examples. We have Grab, Shopee, Amazon, Spotify, Smart, Globe, Lazada, Netflix, and Food Panda. So when you're bored, watch Netflix, open Spotify, listen to music. When you're hungry, open Grab, open Food Panda, pili-pili tayo, and then have our food delivered right to our doors. And if we feel na medyo mayaman tayo this week kasi payday, let's open Shopee. Let's open Lazada and order tayo shoes, order tayo books, 'di ba? So this is how we live our lives today by using services provided to us in the palm of our hands. So ganun lang. Even before the pandemic, I think our usage of these apps became stronger after the pandemic hit. But even before that, it was already very strong. It was already almost impossible for me to spend a day and not use any of these businesses or apps, right? So maybe now we can say siguro people can no longer survive without the internet, without these apps, or without these businesses. But conversely, these apps or these businesses cannot survive without people. And that is where we come in. Next slide, please. BPO or business process outsourcing. So this was discussed a little bit by Sir Joseph kanina, but let's just discuss it further right now. So it's the practice of contracting a specific work process or processes to an external service provider. So in simplest terms, BPO is the third party in this scenario, the only kind of third party that we want and we appreciate. So basically, the businesses are in a relationship with the consumers, and the only way, one of the biggest way to make that relationship work in the long run is by using BPO to keep their lines open to each other. So the BPO companies help the businesses connect to their customers through customer service or technical support associates. Okay, so like what Sir Joseph discussed earlier as well, when we say BPO, it's not just about call center. Call center is just a subset of BPO. So the other services of BPO include payroll, accounting, telemarketing, data recording, social media marketing, and customer support. So yan siya. It's not just when you say BPO, I know that constantly we are relating it to call center, but it's actually a lot bigger than that. So the call center thing in our heads, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So next slide, please. All right, so VXI is an example of a BPO company, or again, as called call center company. So when we say call center, we are mainly focused on resolving the customers' queries. So again, it's just a subset of BPO, but it's the one subset that mainly involves phone work. So VXI here has been here in Davao for a few years now. VXI is one of the most high paying BPO company in the country. So right now we have 4 sites in Davao City. And as of 2019, we have over 35,000 employees globally. All right. That's thousands of people filling the gap between businesses and consumers. Right. So I know that the term call center is not very foreign to you guys. And I know VXI as well is not a very foreign company, especially here to the people in Davao, since there are lots of big what do you call this, advertisements all over the place, right? And even in social media. So I think you have a general idea a little bit of what this company is offering, or the kind of services that this company is offering. So next slide, please. Yeah, let's talk about the two major parts of the BPO company. Or here at VXI, we have the back office and the front office. So the back office is the office or center in which the administrative work of a business is carried out, as opposed to its dealings with customers. So the front office naman represents the customer-facing function or department of a firm. So sa amin, I am part of the people who work in the back office. So we are responsible for recruitment. We do online job fairs. So basically, we use digital marketing a lot to encourage people to apply here at the company. So the platform that we use the most is social media. So that's only one of the channels actually where we can get our applicants, but that's one of the biggest source of applicants here at VXI. So that's what we do sa back office. Now, the front office mainly makes use of data gathering to help customers. So the customers usually phone in and ask for help about their concerns about the business or the app that they are currently using. And in return, the people in the front office will be doing everything they can to resolve their query. So to be able to help them, they will really have to get their data first. But rest assured that the company has systems in place to make sure that those information will be 100% protected. Okay, so both parts, the back office and the front office, rely heavily on digital marketing and data gathering to connect with both the businesses and the customers. So now that we've established how far we've come in terms of technologies, I know that some of the audiences here already have work experience. I know some are graduating and some are, I think, medyo malayo-layo pa sa finish line. But either way, eventually you will be a part of the workforce. And due to the information age, some of you will be working at home and some of you will be choosing to work at the office. But even though we're adapting to big changes, so some important things must remain the same. So I will be discussing a little bit lang, just some of the traditional skills that we still have to improve on to survive in the new age or in the information age. So next slide po. All right, so of course, we have your attendance. So kahit na nasa bahay ka lang, even when you're working from home, it's important to be present. So minsan kasi when we're working from home, I actually tried that before. When the pandemic just hit the city, we were all tasked to work from home, and I think it was kind of a difficult transition since it kind of blurred out my place of comfort to my place of work. So it was difficult to be present. So at that point in my life, I realized that being present, being mentally present is actually a skill. So it's something you actually have to work on. So it's not enough to just be there physically, but it's good if you can be there physically as well. So be prepared for your work, begin and end work as expected, and use your work time appropriately. Next slide po. Okay, so we have next the attitude. So kanina there was a bit of discussion on taking in feedbacks. So I would like just to reiterate that and say something about that as well. So here it says be optimistic and also have realistic self expectations. For me, it's very important to have at least siguro once a month one evaluation, peer evaluation between you and the people you work with, because to me I'm always trying to be a better person, so it's very important for me to know the things I did right, the things I did wrong, and the things I can still improve on. So that's actually a great thing to remember, that even though sometimes it's very hard to take feedbacks, it's very hard to take criticism, especially even if it's constructively done and it's given to us in good heart. But always remember that we should not take these feedbacks as attacks. We should accept them because they are help and they will make us become better people and better employees as well. Okay, so it is important also to know when to go beyond what you're expected to do and know when to not step on other people's toes. All right, sige, let's proceed. Okay, so time management and organization skills. So I have to admit, this is the skill I'm still having trouble the most, because once I start doing something and I know at the back of my head that I still have a lot of things to do, I usually get super overwhelmed. And so it kind of prevents me a little bit to finish that task. So what I'm starting to do now is I have a calendar system. So we write down all the important dates, all the important deadlines, and also if you have one important deadline on this date, don't do it the day before. I know we're all guilty of this sometimes. We all procrastinate, but it's time to really practice doing it little by little so that we will be able to end it, to finish it, to edit it, and to examine it further even before the deadline pa. So part of being organized as well is learning when to ask for help. So if ipit na ipit ka na talaga, if you're too overwhelmed because you've been given a lot of tasks, then don't be afraid to ask for help. And also don't be the kind of person na people will be scared to ask help from. Okay? Sige. Next. All right. So next we have communication. So this was actually discussed a while ago as well. So again, empathize who you are talking to and learn how to talk to them on their level. So for example, if you guys are going to proceed in customer service, just for example, if you talk to the customer, don't use office jargons, right? So you will talk to them on their level. So you will talk to them and use words in a way that they will understand you. Okay, so the email etiquette and the listening skills was also discussed earlier as well. So I just want to reiterate. So the more we practice this, the easier it will be to be kinder to other people, even though it's not easy to see where they are coming from. So yeah, so as said by Sir Joseph a while ago, practice makes progress. Okay. So having said all of that, I would like to invite everyone to our virtual recruitment. So in 4 easy steps lang, you can be a part of the VXI team already. So the first thing you need to do is to send us your application. So email your CV with your full name, updated contact details, and preferred time for a phone interview. So send it to careersph@vxi.com. All right, sorry about that. The subject line must follow this format. application underscore school name underscore last name. So please take note of that as well. So number two would be to ace your phone interview. If this goes well, then automatic you will proceed to number three. Just make sure to keep your lines open. Okay. So usually our recruiters will be calling you twice, but if you're not able to get that, then make sure to send us a text message. Okay. Lastly, follow us on our social media channels. So we have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok. That's at VXIPH. And you may also visit www.jobs180.com/VXI. All right. So thank you so much. I think we're gonna proceed to the question and answer.
Thank you, Miss AJ, for your presentation. And yes, you are correct. Diretso na po tayo sa ating Q&A. So once again, I encourage everyone watching na type nyo sa comments ang inyong questions and then we will address it dito sa ating Q&A portion. I will ask it kay Miss AJ. Also, as mentioned by Miss AJ, be sure to check yung kanilang Jobs 180 account. Nandyan siya sa ilalim, jobs180.com/VXI. Scrolling right there, jobs180.com/VXI. Okay, Miss AJ, kanina, one of your last points regarding yung sa virtual recruitment was yung sa phone interview. I think a good question when it comes to sa phone interview is ano dapat gawin ng ating mga viewers if a company calls them for a phone interview but busy sila at that time? Is it okay if di mo na nasagutin? Kailangan ba sagutin nila immediately or else wala na yung opportunity? Maybe you can share something about that to our viewers.
All right, that's actually a very good question. Thanks, Robert. Anyway, so during the pandemic, yung ano pa talaga, there was a surge of cases. We all had to do all interview process over the phone. So bawal
Mhm.
talaga yung walk-in. So what we did during that time was we call them first. And then if they don't, so kumbaga ito yung mga na-receive namin na applications, like for example from Jobs 180. So they already know once you submit your resume, you already know that you are already on queue to be called. So please prepare. Just keep your lines open. And in the event that you don't answer the call, make sure to text that number immediately so that we can schedule your next call. Okay?
Okay, so to our viewers, yes, hindi naman tapos na. It's not a wasted opportunity if hindi nyo nasagot immediately yung call. Just make sure if for whatever reason, communicate nyo that you are not able to answer and gusto nyo pa rin naman tuloy ang inyong application. Okay. So, Miss AJ, another one of your points earlier is about learning how to ask for help. So this is still a valuable skill, I guess, to have as for our viewers. But I think this is difficult for fresh grads as well. Let's say you are a fresh grad, tapos lahat ng kasama mo ay malaki na experience. I think some would want to show na they can match yung kanilang work output, so nahihiya mag-ask for assistance. Anong mabibigay mong advice for these kinds of so for our viewers if ever sila ay maging fresh grad?
Okay. So before when I started working here, I was a fresh graduate as well. So there's always that urge to prove yourself na
Mm-mm.
kumbaga pa you're just looking for your way in para of course hindi ka ma-out of place and that they will accept you. But at the end of the day, you will realize everything in that place right now is foreign to you. And those people kumbaga are the local. So you know how when we visit for example, some islands, they always tell us to respect the locals. So that's
Mhm.
one very important thing to remember when you're new at the company. Makisama tayo. Let's tell them na, hey, I'm set their expectations as well. I'm quite new here. I would just like some help on this task. Okay? So if kumbaga medyo nahihiya kayo or if pabalang sila sumagot, there will always be some people who will be harder to approach than others. So I think it's important as well to feel that vibe of the person din, to know who to reach out to. So just be honest and communicate what you need, and someone who will be willing to help will be really willing to help you.
Okay, thank you, Miss AJ. So, Miss AJ, earlier you were mentioning about yung, of course, yung work from home setup, and right now you mentioned na kayo ay working in the office right now. I think looking at yung courses ng ating viewers, it's very likely that they may need to work sa office mismo as well, or sa where they are working, yung site kung saan sila nagwo-work. Ano ang expectations dapat nila when having to report to work? Maybe you could share yung experience nyo when it comes to yung protocol, how you go about it, and such, mga ganun.
Okay, so here at VXI, when we transitioned from work from home to work at site, it was a very, I think, stressful process. I think everyone naman is going to go through this regardless if they work in this company or not. But to us, it was very strict when it came to the barangay certificates. So
Mm-hmm.
we had to submit the barangay certificate that indicated na we were not part of the list na PUM or PUI, and that was not very easy to get from some of the
Mm.
barangay. Also, the transition from working very closely to your workmates, tapos ngayon biglang ikaw na lang mag-isa sa desk or sa office, especially right now, we have 4 sites, and currently we are not allowed to jump from one site to another for safety purposes. So that's been difficult at first, but we've been able to adapt naman, and hopefully next time we will be able to move from one side to another again.
Okay, thank you, Miss AJ, for answering the question. When it comes naman dun sa when they're working from home, but they are having issues with, let's say, connection, or maybe they don't have enough gadgets, anong may assistance ba na bibigay ang companies when it comes to this? Or maybe they are allowed to go to the office para sa connection. So ano yung possible na setup na ginagawa ng mga companies kapag may issues with connection with the gadgets and such?
Depende kasi yan. Kasi there are some
Mhm.
companies, and in our case, some people who are really allowed to work from home, but they have to make sure na kompleto talaga ang tools nila, from the internet, the PCs. So they have to make sure on their end that it's really complete at home, because it's very difficult din kasi for the company to just move the data out of the office into the homes of the employees. So we have to also understand that the companies can only assist us so much, and they are data we have gathered that really need 100% protection. So as much as possible, if I think there's even a little bit of a chance that it's harder for you to work from home than to work at site, I would suggest that you really report in the office na lang talaga para kompleto yung tools na magagamit natin, and we can be able to work efficiently. Yun lang po.
Okay, thank you. So to our viewers, isa yun sa mga options that are possible for you na makita, ma-experience niya. Okay, Miss AJ, I think that's all the time we have for our Q&A. So once again, to everyone, go to jobs180.com/VXI. And if I'm not mistaken, Miss AJ, we will be showing a video about VXI. Okay, so thank you very much. And
Yes
hope
po.
to
So
see you
this
again.
is about, yes, thank you so much. Have a nice day po.
Okay, so that's it for our last topic. Once again, that was Miss AJ from VXI Global, as seen as well in the video that we just played. So we hope that you have a good idea about their company by now. So that's it. Again, that's our last topic. I would, of course, want to thank everyone for being here with us, for joining us until the end. Thank you very much. Thank you once again to Alorica and VXI Global. And once again, we would like to thank CEO Group for being one of our corporate sponsors for this event. Get the latest fashion trends for your corporate attire needs. Check out CEO Store in Lazada and Shopee or the nearest mall in your area. For career opportunities, visit jobs180.com/CEO Group. So yes, now to formally close our event, we have again a message from your school. This will be the closing message, and we have a message coming from your guidance center head, Miss Jovi and Albaran.
Good day, DCSP students. On behalf of the Guidance Center of DMMA College of Southern Philippines, I would like to extend our gratitude to jobs180.com for providing our students with relevant and timely information on how to cope with their careers, especially as we adopt in the new normal. From this webinar, I hope you have gained significant insight and practical takeaways that will help you build and enhance your respective careers. This may be a challenging time for all of us, bringing about changes in the world of work, yet we encourage you students to make the most out of this time to develop yourselves and hone your skills. The world has taken on a virtual shift. Let's be flexible to change. After all, the only permanent thing in this world is change. Once again, thank you for your participation in this webinar. This has been Ms. Jovi Ann Albaran, Guidance Center Head. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, Miss Jovi Albaran, for preparing the message, our closing message. So to our viewers, just a few announcements. You could see on your screen that you have an evaluation form to accomplish. You could also check yung inyong comment box, nandyan din yan. So you could copy and paste, but also, it's also dyan sa screen natin, that is your evaluation form. And the rest of our announcements, just be sure to create your resume link, log in sa jobs180.com, and as mentioned, and I'm not sure if nakita nyo kanina when I put it in the comments, you could also go to schools.jobs180.com/DMMA-CSP. And yes, make your resume link as soon as possible. And well, that's it. Thank you everyone for watching. We wish you well, stay safe, everybody, and goodbye.
There are 3 easy steps in creating your resume link. Let me show you how.
Step 1. Register. Go to www.jobs180.com using any browser and click Register Now. Fill out all the information needed. In choosing your resume link, use your full name so that it looks professional and it's easy to recall by potential employers. For example, Antonio Juan de la Cruz .jobs180.com. Step 2. Create and design. When creating your resume, make sure to complete your personal information, and upload your profile picture. One of the highlights of the resume link is the portfolio section. In the portfolio section, you can show off your skills by uploading samples of your work like documents, pictures, videos, and your social media links.
Your resume link also features different themes and you can upload a cover photo. This is a combination of a cover letter and a social network cover photo. Here is an example. You can also download a copy of your resume link and print it. Step 3. Apply for a job. There are many ways to apply with your resume link.
First is browsing the job recommendations in your Jobs 180 dashboard.
If you're qualified, click Submit Resume Link. So what are you waiting for? Dress up your next generation resume, stand out brightly among the competitive job seekers in the market, and win the heart of your future employers using Resume Link.